Cam, here we are back at the Super Series, but I want to take you back a little bit. It's been a whirlwind ride for you in your darting career. So many people might not know, but it all started during lockdown that you just picked them up, and talk us through that.
Yeah, so my dad's always played darts like last 30 years. So whenever I would go and stay at his house, I would play. That's maybe like once every 2 months. Not, I don't know, I wouldn't even definitely play. There's just a chance I might. And then I moved to his not long before the lockdown. And then when COVID hit, I was pretty bored. So we had the board up at home. And he played in an online league. You have the IDL in London. And I started practicing a bit. As I say, I was bored. And I asked him if I could join. And he said, you're going to lose because you're not very good, which is fair. I wasn't. And so I started practicing, and then I've never stopped practicing, really.
When did you realise that you were at a half-decent level to start with and you were competing with other players?
Probably, like, I was playing okay in this league, but yeah, the league was like ranked on what you're averaging, really. So I was in the bottom division. I wasn't anything that good. And then I went to a comp, one of the first comps I could after COVID, and I beat a guy who played Super League, and I beat him. Like, I played pretty well. I think I had like 2 15-dart legs or something. And then I lost to another guy who played Super League, but it was 3-2, and he played a really good game. And then a couple of them said to me, "Oh, you should come and play Super League." And then I thought, "Oh, like Super League is quite a big thing, so maybe I'm doing okay." And then kind of went from there.
What's that transition from online darts to playing in person? Because it's a very different thing watching your opponent hit targets and things like that, where it's just a computer where you can't see your opponents. How was that transition?
Yeah, I mean, my dad isn't really one for throwing at home, but I'd always try and get him to play just so I had that. But as soon as I started, I was happy playing at home and I enjoyed that. But as soon as I played in person, I much preferred it. Like, just having the other person there, it's no different. I played football growing up, and training's great, but you want to play a match and get into the other team, sort of thing. So as soon as I did that, I then started playing as many leagues and nights as I could.
When did you realise that you had a talent for this then? Because like you say, you've gone up, played online, very, very good, then you're beating people. When did you think, hang on a minute, I can take this to the next level?
So I did Q School this year. I also did Q School the year before. I wasn't very good, but I've been practicing with Daryl Pilgrim. And Daryl's obviously very good, and he was good then, he's even better now. So when I used to beat me like 5-0 all the time, but then I started getting 1, and I started getting 2, and I thought, oh, I'm actually, there is a bit of progress. And then, he still beats me most of the time now, to be fair. But I started picking up more legs more often, and then I thought, maybe I'm not as bad at this as I thought.
He beats a lot of people, to be fair.
Yeah. I win sometimes, but he's just ridiculous at times.
Then you got the invite to come and play here, and you set a benchmark straight away. Your debut here, 115 average. What was it like coming here for the first time?
Yeah, it was something that I'd kind of pinned as a place I wanted to get to. Obviously, I played Challenge Tour that year, and I remember when I first came here, they made reference in the comms box that my running average wasn't as high as you would think, because at the start of the year, I was averaging maybe low 70s, and come the end of the year, I beat quite a few big names, and I was averaging kind of high 80s. So when I got here, it was a bit daunting. I played county, but playing on a stage like this is a bit different. So I think it was just a buzz. I didn't even think about what I was doing in that game. I just loved it.
And from there, you got so much attention on social media, posting those kind of numbers on debut here. What was that feeling, that people were starting to take notice of you and people going like, who's this kid?
Yeah, it was weird because, I hadn't experienced something like that. So I was a bit like, people are, when I would go to things before, it's like I was always my dad's son, or when I was going to Super League, it was always such and such his mate. And then it was like, I was Cam Crabtree, which is the first time I'd kind of been Cam Crabtree in darts, which it was nice. And I thought, I've done this once, I can do it again. So.
And then from there, obviously, you've gone on to the development tour, the challenge tour, and done really, really good things. And this year must be pleasing in one respect, but also, is there a little bit of regret there that you were so close to everything?
Yeah, it's tough, and it's been a tough couple of weeks. Obviously, I'm thrilled for Owen to get the Worlds and get his tour card. If I didn't get it, he's, I wanted him to do it. So I'm over the moon for him. But for myself, in only 3 years playing, I've done so many things that a lot of people might not do in darts, and I've taken a lot from that, and I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot now. But it still hurts that I didn't quite get there. At the start of the year, I hadn't expected any of it, but then when you come so close to something, it does hurt. But I'm trying to take all the positives. I kind of didn't sulk, but I felt a bit rubbish for a little while, and then now I've kind of come out the other side of it, and now it's head on for this and Q School in January.
I'm going to call it a Love Island bromance. So how did your friendship with Owen all start? Because you two are like becoming inseparable, haven't you? You travel together, you play together. You were 4 and 5 for so long in rankings. If one of you moved up, the other one moved with you. How did this all come about, this friendship?
Yeah, so just through the development tour, we played each other on off. I think it's both of our first weekend. He remembers, I don't remember it. But then come the next year on the development tour, he'd messaged me about Q School, and I said, yeah, I'll be going. And he said he was thinking of going. And then on one of the development tours in Germany, we started, the group of people I was with started talking to a group who he was with. And so we got to know each other, and then we sat together for quite a bit of Q School. And then since then, we've been in everything together, and we've gone round together.
Yeah, for you even leaving the sidemen to come down here and watch you in the final.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I wanted him to win, and I wanted to come down and give him that support. He'd been before when I was here, so I thought it was only right that I get down and support him.
You touched on, obviously, Q School this year. Now, surely you've been so close. The ambition is to go there and win your card, and nothing else will do?
Yeah. Well, there's nothing more that I want than to win my card. I played every Pro Tour this year, so if I do get my card, it's not like I'm going to spend the first couple of events thinking, getting used to it. It would be almost like I've had my card for 3 years, but I've got the bonus that the first year's gone and I can start building almost on year 2. If I don't get it, then I had a great year this year. I never expected to do the things I'd hoped, but I hadn't expected to do the things I did. So there's nothing to say I can't do that again. I've qualified for England, which is something I'd love to represent England. So if it doesn't happen, there's a lot for me to do. I'm hoping it does, but I've got a lot to look forward to, whatever happens in January.
Look, you set a record here at the Super Series for the Bullseye Challenge, 22. It stood for a while. Unfortunately, Leonard equalled it, but then Danny Lowry this week broke it. Need that back before you go, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Would be nice, so might have to give that another go.
Bit of practice room banter and everything like that as well with the old Bullseye Challenges.
Yeah, it's been okay. A couple of people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you won that Bullseye Challenge, didn't you?" Even in local league, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and they're like, "Oh, that's really good." So if I get that back, then I'd like that.
Cam, pleasure sitting down and talking to you, and wish you all the very best for the rest of this year and going into 24, mate.
Thank you very much, mate.